We are going to examine various megastructures from the 40k verse. The first we see are twin chaos planets who, once powered up, can move and are able to munch down on any planets of the Imperium they find. Then the literally insane Necron who built the home for his dynasty in the middle of a star, and the Mechanicus Forge world that is warp capable. First we will talk about the planet-eating planets that can crunch down to that chocolate core on any they want to devour. There are two planets, Gemini Primus and Secundus, and there is also a small moon near. That all sounds innocent enough so far, right? Except the moon is made of bone and is a steering mechanism, a gaming pad if you will, for something. The planets themselves are the megastructures, planets made of adamantium, and like the gold diggers they are, the Administratum tried and failed to mine this metal, finding it was beyond the Imperium to do so. The planets themselves are highly livable. There are colonists of the Imperium who must count themselves lucky to live there, near mountains and fertile soil, and finding that amongst the chaos of the 40k verse. The first thing about these planets to notice is be in the right place, and these spheres would dance and rotate. The metals they were made of stopped the spheres shaking apart, but did not stop those who settled there suddenly counting themselves as less lucky. As they spin, the planets move closer together, and when they neatly touch, you can see those mountains are made to interlock. These planets are a single Xenos mechanism, and for those living there with great soil and farmland, that was the lure and the trap, and those settlers, that life, fuel for the mechanism. Gemini Primus and Secundus meshed and rolled against each other. Mountain ranges filled valleys. The grinder absorbed the energy of 2 billion souls, and their dreams incarcerated or locked away, incinerated in a matter of seconds. Should have gone to Iceland. The flaming ruins of cities and villages were smashed to dust. A civilization died, priming the mechanism that destroyed it for more. Those deaths, that blood, were the spark for the planet's warp sorcery, and to keep it going it must feed on more planets. The more it eats, the further this engine of perfect annihilation can go. A mere exterminatus left the husk of a planet behind. This device eats planets, grinds them into space rubble. It could deal a death blow not only to the Imperium, but to existence itself. However, in the end, this chaos joyride and its joyriders were ended when it was sent into a sun. Now, why build a tomb world in a star? And worse, how did you get out? Did the nutty pharaoh think of this? The hollow sun of the Suhbekhar dynasty showed the genius of Pharaoh Amenhotep, who had many crazy nights and was dubbed insane. This crown world, this megastructure, is inside the furnace of a star, one of the heart of the Slinar Drift. It looks much like any star does, and within the dynasty snoozers in their tombs. But the idea behind making this place so hidden was not dreamt up after a late night and too much booze. No, it was to protect Amenhotep from the servants of the Old Ones. So many had he slain of these servants, in particular the Eldar, who's marked for death in 12 systems and more. So you don't want to wake up to all that drama, as the Eldar lived and looked like they were ascending from the Necrons' point of view, and the Pharaoh knew they would hunt him still. So he got others to build him the hollow sun. So when he awoke and ventured outside his own kingdom, the hunter became the hunted. The necropolis was made for him. Others of his dynasty hid their tombs wherever they could and pulled the bed covers over their heads. To get it right, the necropolis inside the star, it's speculated that they created it elsewhere and transported it to its current location using dimension twisting processes, lost even to the resurgent Necrons in terms of the knowledge. The city at the heart of the sun is the size of a world itself. Arcane systems protect it, and the Necrons from the raging fusion core unidentifiable systems shield the necropolis, siphoning off the raw power of an entire sun so effectively that the chambers and labyrinths within are as cold as any grave. Vast, dusty chambers and hallways are lined with coiled machine components, many hundreds of meters tall, throbbing with the power to displace dimensions and reshape reality. Within an outer layer of machinery, hundreds of miles thick, rest the stasis chambers of the countless necron constructs responsible for maintaining and defending the hollow sun. In it are the scarab spiders that maintain it, as well as slumbering necron warriors, and the royal necropolis, of which the Pharaoh's is grandest. Perhaps the most impressive sight in the entire hollow sun is the mighty central precinct, where stands the way out of the bottle, the Dolmen Gate, which invasively lets the Necrons use the Eldar webway to fast travel. This structure serves as the main means by which the Necrons of the Hollow Sun gain access to the wider galaxy around them. The gate takes the form of two mighty pillars of dark green living stone, rearing several hundred meters into the air. Crossing these is a mighty capstone bearing the glyph of the Suhbekhar Dynasty, which pulses with baleful green malignance and casts the entire scene in green light. When the gate is activated, the empty space between the stones is transformed into a dimensional portal that glows with nigh blindingly bright green illumination. And lastly, why would a Forge World need to be able to move around? Shouldn't it be built and located in a place where the resources are to hand? This Forge World is called Graia. The forces of this Forge World are very difficult to fight. They are very stubborn. Everything about the armies of Graia bespeaks ironclad control. It's said of the forces of this Forge World that they move like battle automata, more like that than living beings. Graia itself is unusual in that the Forge World is crested by a geometrically perfect ring of space stations known as the Graian Crown. It is within this megastructure that the Forge World's armies reside, and from it they deploy en masse to repel those who would seek to invade the world below. Moreover, the entire vast structure can move under its own power and even translate into warp space, allowing the armies of Graia to forge out across the galaxy and exploit the resources of distant worlds. Though knowledge of this technology is suppressed as much as possible, travel aboard the Graian Crown is an imperfect process. The megastructure has repeatedly attracted the hostile attentions of both warp entities and the ancient Necrons, and entire battles have been fought within its weirdly symmetrical depths to prevent it being overrun or captured. Yet so far, so great an advantage is this immense battle fortress that the logical value of its use to Graia far outweighs the potential risk of losing it to the enemy. When the Crown leaves its Forge World, its fabrication temples are stocked with munitions and its holding decks provisioned with thousands of volunteers. And that's in quotes, so yeah, people they've taken forcibly. Once a suitable, resource-rich world has been discovered, the Crown's kerosene shunt thrusters lock it into a stationary orbit like a tick. Fleets of industrial harvesters descend, leeching the world of its assets. Should an enemy be foolish enough to attempt to board the Crown, its production subroutines adapt. Hundreds of freshly built Skitaria and servitors pour off the production line every minute, and servo carts deliver vast quantities of ammunition to the immovable defenders. While the foe are being bled, the plunder of the world below continues unabated. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, and there is a lot more that you can learn about the Necrons. Why don't you try this video, see what you think.